let's look at PDF2Press and creating workflows. So when you go to workflows, you can create a new workflow. First off, you need an injection point. That injection point is going to be from Procero. It could also be from an email or through cloud storage. So you can define that. It's got a exclamation point because it's missing an outgoing connection. So after that, we need to create a preflight. Could be a fix in between, but for now, we'll do a preflight and then we will connect those two. So before you start creating workflows, you first need to determine or set a preflight profile, a fixed profile. So since we are going through this demonstration, let's go ahead and create a preflight profile. So I'll discard this and we will go into a preflight profile. We'll click Add New, and from here we can give it a name. We can determine what measurement we're looking for. So I'm in the US, so we'll do US or inches. We can then look at document integrity. So if a PDF file is coming in and we want to look to see if there's any form fields, what do we want to do? Do we want to just inform? Do we want to warn or fail? So typically if there's a form field, I want to fail. Annotations within that PDF file, I also want to fail. If I want to look at the file size and say I'm only going to accept files that are 30 megs or under, I can warn, and I can also warn if it's outside the minimum or maximum. So for now, I'm just going to warn it. Image resolution. So do I want to fail if it's under 72 dpi? Do I want to warn if it's under 120? Page dimensions. I can actually put in page dimensions and even do warnings and fails. I can even do aspect ratio reporting as well. So if you were expecting a business card, we can put in a tolerance and then say I want to warn or fail if it's outside and if it's not proportional as well. If you're doing a booklet or maybe a two-sided business card, I can put in minimums and maximums here for page count and do warnings and fails as well. Page multiples. So in this case, if I'm doing a book, I know I need multiples of 4. I can warn and fail as well. If I want to look at landscape or orientation, I can look at this as well. So this, in this case, it would be looking at if page 1 is landscape and page 2 is portrait. I can look and determine if there's any empty pages within a document and then warn or fail as well. I can look to see if there is a bleed box. So in this case, 1/8 of an inch. And do I want to warn or fail? I can look at spot colors. I can allow or disallow. I can even put in allowed colors. So Pantone 0321. I can warn or fail. I can even require colors, so die line, overlay. When it comes to fonts, I can look at minimum font size. I can have allowed font lists and even allowed font names or disallow them as well, and also have warnings and fails. I can even look at rich black. So let's say 300, my maximum. I can even warn and fail for rich black. I can even do overprint preflight checks. So if vectors, warn if there's any overprints or fail. spot colors, I can put in die line and allow that to be overprinted, and I can even disallow as well. I can even look at text safety distance, so distance from the edge, and I can warn and fail there. So once you have this profile set up, you can then save it, and then when we're creating the workflow, we can assign that profile to your workflow. Same thing goes when you're doing a fixed profile. So we'll go into fixed profile and create a new fix. Call it fix, unit of measure, and some of the same things we were pre-flighting for we can fix. So color space transformation. I can automatically transform it to a different ICC profile. This comes in handy when you're on a web to print solution and customer puts in that they want a black and white business card. I can automatically convert it to grayscale through a workflow. I can resize pages. I can do it proportionally or I can scale it. This also comes into play when you're working with variables, which I'll be showing a little bit later on. Image resolution, I can upscale. So I know we were warning and failing on the pre-flight. Maybe you want to rethink that, try an upscale resolution. Say let's upscale everything to 300 dpi. I can truncate pages. So if you have a product and it's a 16-page saddle stitch book, I can truncate everything after 16 pages. I can add bleed. So if there was not a bleed box, I can put in 1/8 of an inch. I can mirror it, or I can repeat the last pixel. I can add trim marks. I can add rich black. So if I want to convert, say, okay, so with rich black, I can convert 100% black objects to whatever I want. So if I want a build of black, I can apply it to text or vectors or both. I can even reduce black objects. So maximum ink, say 320, and then I can reduce that to whatever you may need. And I can also apply that to text, vectors, or both. Fonts, I can outline fonts. Says here not recommended. That's because it's going to add to the processing time. Overprints, so I can set overprint for spot colors. So we could say die line, and I could apply it to a vector. I could set overprint for black objects, and let's do vectors. I can even put in flatten transparencies to a particular resolution, and we would then save that as a fixed profile. Now that we have a fixed profile and a pre-flight profile, I can now go into a workflow, create a new workflow, bring my injection in, bring my pre-flight in. So in this case, I want to do a basic pre-flight, connect that. I can do a fix after this, and in this particular case, I will do a basic fix. And now I can do a proof. So in this particular case, I can do a proof, and I can choose my proofing profile that I'll show you in the next segment. So from here, I've got an exclamation point saying it's missing an outgoing connection. It's because I need to complete my workflow. From here, I have a full workflow. I can save it, and then we can add that to a product in Procero, and it will go down this step. It will inject it, it will pre-flight it, it will fix it, it will show a proof, and then your workflow is complete. As I was saying earlier, you might want to put a fix here, depending on how you want to work and inform your customers. I can do a fix, and I can fix the bleed. So I can fix the bleed, that way I don't have to report on it. Save your profile, and then we will go to the next step. That is creating workflows utilizing Preflight and fix profiles.